Okay, here we go. We are back on the CubeKrowd server, and I have received feedback from both of my viewers. My daughters are both of the viewers, and yeah, you were interested in seeing the plot that I did in the creative world to earn the ability to be a member. So I wanted to show this to you, and just sort of started in the middle here. Yeah, there's one of the things I wrote in a little sign around here somewhere was basically that a lot of these are just kind of sketches for bigger builds. Nothing really, no like huge completed project. Some people use their whole plot for one big build, like a huge castle, and do all the landscaping around it and all that. But I use it to kind of do little ideas. This is kind of an idea for a corner entrance where the doorway is kind of sideways, actually. Kind of a neat little arch shape, and there's like a smaller version of it here. So I was just kind of messing around with that idea. Yeah, and there's obviously no particular rhyme or reason to it. I like trying to do a lot of different patterns for walls. One of the things about designing and using creative mode to design survival builds is for any particular area you want to kind of come up with a palette, and by that I mean a set of blocks that you're going to use for the build. So over here, a bunch of different little sandstone builds, and in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinions, you don't want to use all of the blocks in every build, unless you're going for kind of a rainbow build, which you could do. But in general, you want to kind of stick to a color theme. It's always nice to throw in some color. So, for instance, here I could see definitely adding like a little shot of blue in here would kind of, add a little extra interest to it. But yeah, as you can see here, yeah, here's some extra. So redstone ideas for this. These are little circuits called T flip-flops, which mean that if you step on a button, it behaves as a switch on and off. So you see that light is off, and that turns it on. Even though I'm just pressing a button, it works like a lever would, if that makes any sense. Let me show you a lever. I could put a lever right next to it, and it does that same on and off behavior where you leave it and it stays on. Whereas if you had a regular button here, it would just stay on for the duration of the button. See that? But here's a little extra redstone that makes it stay on or off. So just an example of one of the things that I was kind of playing around with here. And yeah, I love to do different designs for floors. There's one with some depth, and you could have lighting under that carpet if you wanted to. Actually, no, not in this case, but that's always an idea for lighting. In 1.13, I've been adding water to these blocks to make them waterlogged, but since this server hasn't updated yet, can't do that. But I think that's kind of what I was playing around with here. And yeah, so yeah, you can. I don't remember exactly what I had here when I finally did apply, but in general, you want to kind of fill up your plot with, not entirely full. I mean, obviously, there's a little bit more room here, but you don't want to just do one little corner. I think some people get on and they do one little corner of a really cool build to show that they are skilled. But part of the idea of having a whole plot to kind of demonstrate what you are interested in doing is showing a little dedication to the server also. So you don't have a bunch of brand new people logging on to the survival world. Like I said, there's no plugins that protect any of that survival world except for just choosing good people to have access to it. So that's kind of the idea of having these creative plots serve as the applications for the survival world. And this is the little note that I wrote here. Hello, thanks for taking time to check out my plot. It's mostly sketches for design ideas, few complete projects I hope you enjoy. Thanks for your time. Yeah, so there's my face, right? And so once you've built on a plot and you've applied, you can get to the survival world. One kind of neat thing also is that if you fill up a plot and you want room for more building, just like kind of building big curves in the air. Yeah, and obviously creative, you can build up in the sky. But as I was about to say, you can get a second plot to start working on. So I think if I do, yeah, it goes to this other world, other creative plot, which I have set to nighttime. And yeah, it's again not a lot of finished projects. I think I started this plot when I was getting ready for this new the old survival world. When I first started on this server, I was telling one of you that I just played creative because I wanted a creative server to kind of mess around with, and then I learned that they were going to be updating the survival world, and I applied, and that's how I got to be a member. Yeah, more floor ideas, more wall kind of details, little corners, um, little ideas for towers. And this is just kind of a synthetic tree made out of the concrete, a big, tall, crazy tree. This is kind of a facade of a skyscraper, maybe. And I set it to nighttime so that I could see what things would look like when they, when they needed lighting, if they needed lighting. So this was kind of an idea where I was hiding it behind some banners. And kind of funny, I noticed that my neighbor, I think, liked my design. So he came over and must have somehow copied it. I guess, like I was saying to one of you, there's World Edit, which is a big tool that allows you to kind of cut and paste. If you wanted to copy, if I wanted to use World Edit, I could copy this wall and then paste it in 4 sides and see what a tower would look like. Being a member, and I think I'm now trusted, there's like different levels of member that give you more abilities in using this plugin called World Edit that allows you to do big, powerful things like that, like cutting and pasting big chunks of your world rather than doing one block at a time. It's kind of a powerful tool, and I have not messed around with it at all, which I should because it's fun. But here's another idea for a wall using the reeds behind as a texture. You can grow them as tall as you want manually. But this bigger structure here, this big pyramid shape, I wanted to work out in creative before I built it in survival. And I think probably I've been talking for a while now, so I might wrap it up here. But next time I will show you my survival build. Oh yeah, this is something I was working on kind of as a big pit idea. Again, like if I had creative, or rather World Edit, I could kind of cut this and then paste it over here and see what it would look like. But yeah, this is kind of a neat little stairway pit that I was working on. That's one of the nice things about creative. You have different layers you can play with. This was an idea for a glass floor. Think, yeah, having kind of layers of glass, kind of a neat texture. A little darker on the recording screen than it is on my screen, but anyway, that's it. These are my 2. I just have 2 creative plots, and yeah, nothing too complete. Again, some more different versions of trees. Here's a frozen tree. This really needs some extra lighting. And of course, now I'm here, I want to do some building for the end rods. This is what I was thinking. Maybe if I did end rods on the end of these. Oh, I gotta turn the cursor back on. There we go. What does that look like? Oh, not that one. Anyway, adds a little extra lighting, maybe some icicles like that. That's one of the nice things about doing it at nighttime, so you can sort of see what will need light in survival world. Anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed. I had the music going. Still not sure how much of it you can hear, but until next time, I hope you enjoyed, and I love you, and I'll see you then. Bye.